How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another session of the Let's Talk Show by Interlingua. I am Mike, your host, and today we will cover the father relationship. Yeah. Tell me, do you get along with your father? Is your father your hero, as some people like to say? Be sure to comment in the section. And what do you think a good father is? Recently we went through Father's Day here in Mexico. How did it go? Did you celebrate it? Or, it's also valid. You had nothing to celebrate. It happens. Why not? But what's your perspective on fatherhood? What is the image of a father in someone else's life, in yours, in maybe the people who surround you? Be sure to participate in the comments and tell us your perspective on the matter. In the meantime, we have our guests who offer two sides of a coin. One of the guests has a tremendously good relationship with her father. The other one, it's a father himself. So without further ado, let's bring them out. Coming back in a while in the Let's Talk Show, we have Jordi and we have Karen. What's up, everybody?
Whoa.
Hello.
Good to see everyone. Glad to see you back here. How's it going?
To be back.
All right.
Doing good.
And well.
All righty, guys. Well, both of you relate in a different way to today's topic. But let's cover some common ground first. Let's make a little build up and then we will cover your particular questions. To get to know your perspective a little bit, tell me, how important do you think it is for someone to have a relationship with the father figure? Karen.
Okay. Well, I personally say that having a good relationship with your father is something important and something good. I'm not saying that it's entirely necessary because, sometimes you just need to have a good relationship with whomever is your authoritative figure, let's say. But I would say that having a father figure, yes, somebody who is there for you, who helps you out, and has a different perspective of life could be really helpful. My case, since I'm a woman and my father is a man, and he was he is way older than me, I think that helped me a lot with several things. And thanks to that, I could understand a different perspective, something that if he hadn't been there, I think it would have been very difficult to, to get it. So that's why I consider that it's an important, it's important to have a good relationship with your father.
All right. Jordi, what about you? How important do you think is the father figure to someone's life?
I think it's as important as other family members. Every family member is important in our lives in different ways, of course. So I wouldn't say that it's particularly important or more relevant, but it's good to have a figure that you can count on and whatnot. But it's like any other family member.
To have someone there for you, right?
Alrighty. That's what family is for.
I gotcha. Karen, you mentioned some of the characteristics, but to sum it up, I would also like to receive a more solid answer based on you guys' perspective. In what do you think it constitutes a good father? Because it's relative sometimes. Karen.
Well, like I would consider that being a good father is basically like giving your children the the support they need, or also like being there for them. I mean, I know that moms do that like almost all the time, and
Yeah.
we cannot say that a father has to do exactly the same. But personally speaking, and in my personal opinion, I would say that my father is a good father because he's always been there for me, and he's been like very supportive, and he hears me out and things like that. So that's why I consider that he is a good father. However, as you mentioned before, this could be like a very subjective thing. And maybe for others, it could be like, no, like being a good father is that he is taking care of you, or he's, I don't know, like giving you permission to go anywhere you want to go, or things like that. But I would say that as long as they are there for you, they support you, and they hear you out, that's like one of the most important things, like any parent can do, not just fathers in general.
Alrighty. Jordi, what about you? What do you think it constitutes a good father?
I mean, I completely agree with Karen. I mean, I think she covered everything. Basically, just be there, be supportive. I think it's important to mention that. Yeah, I mean, you have to listen to your kids and your spouse, but the trick is not to judge them or not to criticize them, so that they don't feel like attacked. Because in the end, they want to trust you, or they need to trust you, and then if you do those things, obviously they're not going to do that. So I think it's pretty much that. Just be there, be supportive, listen to them. Don't judge them or not too much. And yeah, pretty much that's it.
Alrighty. So let's talk about you guys for a moment. And Karen, besides awesome, I love that word. How else would you describe your relationship with your dad?
Okay, that's a difficult one.
I love difficult questions.
Yes, I can see. Well, the thing is that sometimes it's a little bit hard. I mean, yeah, it is awesome, but we are like different, and there are many things that sometimes we don't and we disagree on. So it could be a little bit hard sometimes. But at the same time, I consider that us being so different is what makes things work. Like, I don't know. There are times where we have a lot of fun because we have different perspectives. And thanks to that, we can like understand other points of view. So, I mean, I would say that it's also very interesting because my father he isn't very traditional, but there are times where he's like very, I don't know how to say it, like honorable. And,
Oh,
like that
okay.
feeling. And it's a little bit interesting when I ask him for advice, when he tells me like his point of view. It's really
Okay.
interesting to see like a different idea, different perspective of what I'm asking. And I have never thought about that. So that's why I would say that it's also very interesting. It's challenging, but I really like it because in the end, I think we both always have fun. So that's why, yeah, would say it's
So,
interesting, complicated, but fun.
and that was so cute to listen to. Thank you very much. Jordi. In my opinion, I mean, I haven't experienced it myself, but I strongly believe that nothing, and I do mean nothing, not even courses, not even books, really prepare you for everything that you come to feel when you become a father. By nodding your head, I think you agree. By the nod of your head, I think that you agree with me. So, tell me, how does one digest this idea? Like when you found out, okay, you're going to be a father, and then all of a sudden you saw your baby. What comes into your head? What goes on inside you?
I don't know. I mean, my kid is 6 months, and I don't think I have processed it entirely, so I don't know. No, but it's nice. I mean, when you know you're going to be a dad, it's like, damn, it's happening. Well, at least in my case, it was like that. It's like it's happening. And then when I first saw my son, I was like, damn, this is so nice. But yeah, I mean, nothing. Yeah, you're super right. Nothing prepares you to the whole thing, because your parents tell you one part of the whole situation. Books tell you other thing. Your grandparents tell you a completely different thing. So it's like, who do I listen to? And it's a mess, but it's a nice mess.
Uh, Put that in a t-shirt. It's a nice mess. That's the tagline for the show. I'm sorry, but that sounds so cool. Thank you, man. Now, Karen. Do you think that, based on your experience, do you think that the bond between a daughter and a mother is different than a daughter and a father? And if it's so, how?
Well, I'm going to answer like maybe this is going to be, I don't know how it's going to sound, but I'm talking from my experience, okay? Yeah, got that. Now,
That's what we want.
I think that it's totally different because, as I told you before, like we have so different perspectives and like different points of view that we can see things that the other one maybe can't. So, in my case, my relationship with my mom was never so good. I mean, right now it's getting better, but in the past, while I was growing up, it wasn't that good, and I didn't get along that well with her because we were like always fighting over the same things because we were so similar, So it was very hard. Yeah, I mean, it was like I was talking to myself and she was talking to herself, so we kind of like, we felt like we couldn't get to an agreement or anything like that because it was always the same thing.
Okay.
And for example, with my dad, we never like really argued over things. We just like got probably a little angry, but we were always like, okay, you know what? I know that maybe we disagree on this, but we can get to an agreement because you have a different perspective and so do I. So I think at a certain point, it was interesting. That's why I said that it was interesting, because it was interesting to see like what was going to happen. And I don't know. I mean, I consider that the relationship between a daughter and mother, it's so different on many, many levels because you can, I don't know how to explain it. I mean, it's just like you can connect on different things,
Yeah.
For example, I told you with my mom, a simple thing, like if I wanted to go to a party, she would say like, no, definitely no, because you're going to do this, and that. And when I told my dad, like, can I go to the party? And he was like, okay, but if you do this, no more parties for, I don't know, like 1 month. So for me, it's like, okay, that's funny, I mean, at least he's given me the opportunity to go. And if I screw it up, it's on me, And my mom was always like, no, like definitely no. So that's why I consider that it's like so interesting, the relationship that you have. And of course, as I mentioned before, it's always very subjective. So yeah, I mean, in my case, it was like that for me.
Jordi, as we established before, a lot of new feelings and a lot of new emotions come when you become a father. How has fatherhood shaped the perspective you have on life nowadays?
That's a big question. Number one, I think the first change is like about roles, like at home, because everyone is used to this notion of the father is the one that has to work and the mom stays home with the kids and everything. And in my particular and very personal experience, it's the other way around. I am the one that stays at home, takes care of the kid in the morning. My wife goes to work in the morning, and then she takes care of the kid in the afternoon. But essentially, I am the one that stays home. So that was like the first change. Like what's going on? Because I don't remember seeing this. I mean, from when I was a kid, you know. But it's not difficult to adopt that mindset. I mean, it's just like, oh, things change. It's okay. I think the bigger changes are about your priorities, how you spend your time, and what you do with your time. Because nowadays, I can tell you, before having a kid, I mean, being married but without a kid, it was super easy to say, let's go to the movies, let's go have a drink, let's go this and let's go here and there and do this and that. Nowadays, it's like, I want to do this, but we have to find someone to look after the kid while we are not there. And we have to choose whom, because it has to be someone we trust and someone that feels comfortable taking care of the kid and that the kid feels comfortable with. So it's a lot of things about how you use your time, because you have to optimize everything, because you have to take care of your job, take care of the kid, and all the other things you have in your life. So it feels like you're constantly juggling. So, yeah. And as I said, priorities. I mean, maybe there is at some point I want to buy something, or I want to give my wife a present, but then I'm like, but we have to buy this for a kid, or we have a doctor's appointment in next week.
Oh.
Yeah. So that area also gets affected.
Okay. Big change. Big
Yeah.
change. Speaking about changes, Karen, what has your father taught you that has influenced your decisions in life and the way you move through it?
You love asking this kind of questions. Okay. I actually have like one thing in mind that is like very specific.
Okay.
As I told you before, while I was growing up, I spent most of my time with my dad. And one of the things that he always taught me was that I could do things myself. Like, it was okay to ask for help, but I could try it first. Like, try doing it myself first. And then if I needed help, I could ask for help, you know? In difference to my mom, that was always like, what do you need? What do you want me to do for you? And for me, that was like too much. I mean, I understand that she was like concerned about me maybe, but sometimes it felt like she didn't let me like do things or try things, you know? But my dad, he was like, try it out, see if you can do it. And if you can't, then you can ask me for help. So I think in that case, it helped me a lot because, for example, now, if I want to try something new, I'm not like afraid of trying things. I mean, it's difficult sometimes to like do things, you know, like being brave and say, okay, I'm going to do it. But I think when I am about to do it, it's very hard for me not to do it. Like, thanks to that lesson, I can do things and I can try different things. And maybe I don't know if it would be like also part of this, but he also taught me how to like do many things around the house, like for example changing a light bulb, things like that, because we spend a lot of time together, you know. So I guess it was difficult for him, like what should I do with her? And so he taught me like things and things like that. So I think that idea of his, like you can do it yourself. I am not afraid of doing things myself, and I can be very independent. So that's something that I'm very grateful for. And that's different, for example, from my sisters and me, because my sisters didn't spend a lot of time with him. And they struggled a little bit with that change. Like being independent was a little harder for them. Yeah.
All right. Very interesting. Thank you, Karen. Now for Jordi. Taking from the influence that you received as a son, what do you think it works for you to apply it now that you are a father?
Ooh, that's a difficult one. Okay. The things that I received as a son that I would like to apply as a father. Okay, number one, not judging.
Okay.
Like, it's going to sound maybe a little bit wrong, but letting them be. Like, you did it, take the consequences, good or bad. They are your consequences. If you want me to help you, maybe clean this mess or whatever, we'll see. But they are your consequences. You have to learn with. You have to learn to deal with those things. What else? What else? Being supportive, but not like all the time there. You know, like what do they call them? Like helicopter parents? No.
Whoa.
Yeah, I mean, because my dad was like, okay, yes, you can do this. Let's try this thing if you want to. But he was not like all the time there, you know. So if I wanted him to attend a recital or a match or something, then I would tell him, and then he would go or something. But it wasn't like I'm going to be there on time. So like giving your kids space, that as well. And I think the most important is teaching my son to be or to have or develop critical thinking, like not accepting things because they have always been like that. Always question why and how and if it helps. I think the most important thing I learned and I want to transmit is it helpful? If not, let it pass.
Alrighty. I wish you guys could share a little bit more from your different experiences, but sadly, it is almost time to wrap things up. But before we do this, not so fast. It is time for our rapid fire session. Number 1, best memory with your father. Karen.
When he took me to my first ballet lesson.
That's okay. Jordi.
Okay, the time he taught me how to play a bar chord on the guitar and an F chord.
All right. What? It'll make sense in a moment. Part 1. What do you think is your father's best virtue, Karen?
That he's very brave and responsible.
Jordi?
That he doesn't give up.
Okay. No, because it's valid. Why not? What is your least favorite aspect of your dad? Got it.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, guys.
I don't know. I mean, maybe that I have no idea. That's pretty hard.
You can say something like, hey, he snores. Or he makes chewing noises like, I mean, that's valid. Why not?
Maybe
Nothing comes to mind.
he can be a little bit eccentric sometimes.
Oh.
Tiny touch.
Oh, like, oh, yeah. Alrighty. What about you, Jordi?
Okay, this one is like a long idea, but here it goes. The least favorite trait is that he complains about some things my grandfather does, but eventually he ends up doing exactly the same.
Vicious circle.
Yeah.
Okay. And finally, lesson that your father has given you that you are very grateful for, Karen.
Well, as I told you before, like trying things myself first, and also like not giving up because something that he's always like saying, in a way. I mean, he's not saying it directly, but every now and then, in all of the things that he shares, he ends up saying that like, you can do it, and give up.
Yes, you can. What about you, Jordi?
Okay, like the best lesson I've learned from my father, probably that you have to build such a reputation that whenever people hear about you, they know exactly like everything about you just because of that reputation that you build. Obviously, a good reputation.
Okay.
Like you have to let your work do the talking, you know?
I dig it. Guys, thank you so much for sharing everything that you did and for taking the time to participate one more time in the Let's Talk show. As I always say, you are always welcome.
Thank you.
And for our viewers, that's it for today. Be sure to tune in on a weekly basis every Wednesday at 8 for the Let's Talk show by Interlingua. Karen was with us, Jordi was with us, Eric Rios was in the controls, Poncho was in charge of the editing. I am Mike. Goodbye, mwah, and good night. Bye.